old wood, afraid of the meadow where life once before treated her worse than it should. And think of the mountain beyond the green meadow did surely bring fear to her heart. For she'd heard the stories of all the great hunters and shivered and cried in the dark. Tired of living a life of dark shadow, Fox ventured out in the light and rejoiced at the sound and the smell of the meadow while keeping her shelter inside. Then all at once a fear overcame her, the shadow passed over the sun, and she heard the cry of the great hunting eagle. She knew it was over and done. I am the eagle that speaks for an eagle. I've come to take you away. High up the mountains and sparkling blue rivers and show you the place where I stay. Please do not fear me, for I will not harm you, no matter what others may say. Though it is true that our lives should not mingle, I need up some friendship today. Though she didn't know why, she accepted the offer and reluctantly climbed on his back. And the woods and the meadow were left far behind her. It seemed she would never get back. Then the fox sensed a yearning deep within the great eagle, and she felt something stirring in her too. Could she fall in love with the eagle? Could he fall in love with her too? Could this eagle be lonely and searching for someone to help him ruin his domain? Had he ever had someone to love, bring him in and out of the rain? And the eagle spoke soft, and his words were a wonder, in a voice touched with sadness it seemed. Even though I must hunt in the name of survival, I need not kill all that I see. For I am the eagle that speaks for an eagle. I've come to take you away. High up the mountains and sparkling blue rivers to show you the place where I stay. Please do not fear me, for I will not harm you, no matter what others may say. Though it's true that our lives should not meet, I'll meet up some friends today. I've need of some friendship today. I've need of some love today.
Hey everybody, welcome to the stream. Memorial Day 2024. Just say some hellos in the chat. We have Junior Johnson from Michigan, Scratchy, Turkey Vulture, great to see you, man. Muhammad Ali, £5 super chat. This is back. Thank you so much, Muhammad. Very kind of you. Appreciate it very much. Thank you, man. Hope you're enjoying your GMT, your beautiful GMT. So, tomorrow is the Memorial Day for the United States, and I saw it fitting to make a stream giving respect to this day for two reasons. The first one, if you don't know, that I am, maybe it's a little weird because I am not American. Sadly, I wish I was. I am very proud of what I am, but I am not American. And if I could choose, if they said you had to choose another nationality, then that would be American. United States of America. Because I think that the United States of America is the greatest country on earth. And without it, I don't know where I would be physically right now. as well as the Soviet Union. Okay, but you understand what I'm saying. And the other reason is for anyone who is following, of course, the streams and the excuse me, the Archiverse, So you may be aware of a certain occurrence that happened, and it's a very hot topic right now. So let's get that out of the way. When the thing happened, I got a call from Archie. He told me that he had said something very bad and offensive about on the Marcelo stream, and he asked for my forgiveness. I told him that he needs to ask forgiveness first for Marcelo, and then from anyone who has watched it. And afterwards, this was published on, clipped. So I thought it would be very fitting that he would issue a sincere apology with some kind of message about what happened, on his stream or on his channel, on any of his channels. He did issue an apology. I watched the apology. It was not the apology I was expecting to see. I do not know. I believe that he does mean, he did mean it, but did not seem sincere. And if anyone has ever followed YouTube dramas, there are different scales of apologies on, influencer and content creators who are on YouTube or whatever, and that was not a good apology. So I think that when you make an apology for something as severe as that, you should really make it a real one, a real sincere one, not reading something off teletext, but something that really comes from the heart, and something that carries with it a message, because the matter discussed is the Holocaust. The Holocaust was the attempt to eliminate the Jewish people in Europe, and if the Nazis had succeeded to, conquer the entire world and all the Judaism, all the Jewry of the entire world, that didn't happen, thankfully. But beyond it being a thing that was aimed against Jews, it was the thing aimed at many other people, minorities, disabled people, gays, and so on. And I believe that if you've read your history, then who were the victims of Nazism and fascism. That being said, I think that, and it's not an original thought for me, it's something that many writers of discussed, philosophers, many Jewish and Israeli writers said that the Holocaust is is a lesson, is a warning for humanity as a whole. So when we say never again, it's never again, not only for the Jews, it's obviously for the Jews, but it's for everybody. And that's part of the reason why I think any kind of apology related to that subject should be taken much more seriously. And again, Archie, I've been in contact with Archie for going about on almost 3 years now. He has been supportive of me 2 years ago when I had some issues, and I super chatted him a very big amount when I was not sound of mind, when I was manic. When you're manic, then you tend to have a tendency to spend very large amounts of money. I did that. Was not in a good condition back then, not financially nor mentally. So he funded me that super chat, and apart from that, to me, he's always been good. So yeah, I don't think I never thought he's racist or anti-Semite. So I just wanted to get that out of the way, and the reason is that I'm tying this to the Memorial Day is because obviously the United States was a major factor in wiping out Nazism and fascism, and we really need to remember those who fought, those who all gave some gave all, and we need to remember them, honor them, and at the same time remember what they fought for. And when such things are said, even in private conversations, whether they are meant to be heard, streamed to the masses or not, we need to speak up, and we need to understand why it's wrong. I've heard the word move on a lot these past 2-3 days, and I'm all about moving on, and I'll tell you why. But it's moving. You move on, but you have to learn from the mistake. You have to take the lesson deep inside of you and move on as you are smarter. Now, a little bit about my personal history and family history. I've told this in streams before, but my grandmother, God rest her soul, she passed away 10 years ago. She was an Auschwitz survivor. She, tattoo and all. She arrived at Auschwitz around 1943, and she was on the selection. When you arrived at Auschwitz, you had doctors on the ramp where the Jews got off the train, and the doctors would be saying, rechts, links, rechts, right, or links, left in German. One direction was the gas chambers, the other was work, slave labor. So many of those who were deemed weak and cannot work or assist the Nazi war machine were sent to the gas chambers. So as she was standing there in the where the people were chosen to go left or right, somebody asked, somebody from the staff of the camp asked if somebody knew how to cook, and my grandmother at the point she was 17 years old. Her entire family died in the ghetto, um, and she raised her hand, although she didn't know how to cook. But it was pretty obvious what would happen if she would not do anything at that point, anyway. Because if they're asking at a place like this where you get off the ramp and there are, dogs barking, and well, obviously at that point you understand where things are going. So she volunteered. She volunteered. She said she knows how to cook. Well, she didn't know how to cook. Eventually, she became a very good cook when I came to be. But and thanks to that, thanks to her raising her hand on that ramp, I am here today talking to you. And she survived the camp through working in a kitchen. So when she was working in the kitchen, she one day, and that's pretty dark thing I'm going to tell you about. So trigger warning or whatever they call it today. It's pretty difficult thing, but I'm gonna tell it to you. One day she was working in the kitchen, and she had a window looking outside to the camp, and she saw a truck which had kids, a bunch of kids on the back, and they had these. This was, I believe, and I don't quote me on this because obviously we cannot know when exactly it was, but as I said, she was there before between 43 and 45. She was when she was marched in January to 45 in the death march to Germany. I believe this was around summer 1944 when the Germans were eliminating Hungary's Jewry, the Jews of Hungary. They were bringing many Jews from Hungary every day. They ended up murdering 400k Jews, Hungarian Jews, and Auschwitz was always a death factory, but at that point it was really working overtime, if you can say that. So so they were killing a lot of people. They had to reach certain quotas that they had been given by the higher ups, including Adolf Eichmann, who was one of the main orchestrators of the Holocaust and was personally in charge of, correct me if I'm wrong, by the way, but I think he was personally in charge of the operation of the destruction of Hungary's Jews. The Germans were obviously aware that they are going to lose the war, and they had to, of course, because they had to destroy the Hungary's Jews before the war ends. And she was looking at the truck. The truck was full of children in the back. So they had pits that they dug up where they will dump the bodies when the ovens were too crowded, because you can have only so many ovens when you're destroying tens of thousands of people per day. So you had to get rid of the corpses in that way as well. One of the pits was empty, and they set fire to the pit. The kids were alive at that point, and the truck unloaded the kids into the fire. And until her last day, she lived up. She was almost 88 when she passed away. She would very frequently wake up screaming, listening, hearing those children screaming. And I personally, I heard it myself. And that's what Auschwitz is about, This is Auschwitz, and I cannot comprehend it. I don't think anyone can. Not anyone who has been there can comprehend it. There was one very prolific, famous Israeli author who was an Auschwitz survivor. It was called Katzetnik, and he testified at Adolf Eichmann's trial in Israel. As you know, Adolf Eichmann, as I said, one of the main orchestrators of the Holocaust, was captured by Israel in 1960 in Argentina, brought to trial in Israel, and executed in 1962. So that writer Katzetnik, he was testifying at the trial, and he was describing. He was a writer, and he was very good with words. He said something. He said Auschwitz was another planet, and then he carried on to faint. He lost his consciousness on the tribunal. So to me, Auschwitz and the Holocaust is something that is still, we cannot understand it completely. And this is what Auschwitz is for me. And Auschwitz for me embodies the Holocaust as a whole. The same writer, Katzetnik, he later on in his life, about 20 years later, he was being interviewed on Israeli TV, and he said that one day he was in the camp and he saw a German SS officer, and he was looking at him, and he was very, very, very thin, and he was very anxious that maybe he will choose to just randomly kill him. And he said, I looked at that German SS soldier, and I saw myself. Now, I know it might sound weird, but the message that he said he wanted to and he explained in that interview, the message was that any person can do it, in this case, it was the Germans. And I'm not going into how and why, but at the end of the day, and when we're saying monsters did this, beasts. It's not monsters and it's not beasts. It's human beings, and that's one of the main things that we need to learn and remember from the Holocaust, that humans can and have done it. At Auschwitz and at other places and at other time periods in history. I think that the Holocaust is the climax of the possibility that to which the zenith to which human evil, the evil that humans can do has reached, but it can happen anywhere. So that's that's, I guess, my message on the whole Holocaust Auschwitz thing. And I do think that we need to move on. I believe in people and in humanity, and in that case, we need to move on, but we cannot move on. We cannot allow ourselves to move on without learning the lesson and letting things slide and having these kind of discourse, these kinds of things said, become a norm. And my grandmother moved on. She came. She had nowhere to return after the war. She was marched on the death march to somewhere near Berlin, where she was liberated by the Red Army. And there, when she was liberated, she actually met my grandfather. God rest his soul. He was a translator for the Red Army because he was very fluent in German and Russian. Obviously, he also spoke Yiddish. He was also in a concentration camp. He lost his eye in an interrogation. Lost most of his family, but his father and brother survived. When they met somewhere again, not in the outskirts of Berlin, but not far, like a village somewhere in the vicinity, my grandfather somehow sensed that my grandmother is Jewish, so he asked her. He talked to her in Yiddish, and imagine you being what you are, my grandma, and Red Army soldier suddenly speaks to you in Yiddish. So they, history happened, and they became, they fell in love, and they lived together in a displaced persons camp in Germany, which was run by the Americans. And my uncle actually was born in that camp in 1946, and in 1949 they came to Israel, which was already Israel back then. And this is where they had kids, had children, had grandchildren, and my grandmother managed to see great grandchildren. My grandfather sadly did not. He passed away in 1995. A few months later, his first great grandchild was born. And I think that's pretty much the story. Um, I have been to Germany a few times. I've been to Dachau, the concentration camp. I was a big fan of Bayern Munich, which is a football or soccer team, or depends on where you come from. I love lots of German music, German friends, Germans who were born after the war are not to be blamed for what their parents, great parents did. So you move on. If even from a thing like the Holocaust, you move on. But the saying never again, never forget is very important. And this comes into play when we talk about the recent events in the Archiverse. Let me read some of the chat because I was focused on telling the story. Snack, good to see you. Watch Apprentice, thank you so much for the super chat. 10 pounds, great to see you back, Dish. Thank you very much, man. I'm happy to see you too. It's unimaginable. Yeah. Yeah. What can I say? Sorry. Yeah, as I said, it's unimaginable, and I don't know. I think I'll spend the rest of my life trying to understand how people were driven to do this, and I didn't manage to find a good, satisfactory answer up until now. I hope I will one day, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. Humanity has its good sides and its disgusting sides, and both, go to the extremes. Junior Johnson, my grandparents worked in the factory to help support the war effort. My grandpa worked in a steel plant, and my grandmother helped make parachutes. Wow, that's yeah. The American war industry was vital in beating the war, winning the war. Obviously, they also helped the Soviets with the tools of war, with the leaves and everything. And it was, to me, it's, in a sense, it does give me optimism, makes me optimistic that despite the differences in ideology, they could come together when they saw that there is one greater evil that is overshadows the differences between them. Given the Cold War that followed, and the Operation Paperclip, and the Soviets that hired Nazis, it's called Realpolitik, and I'm not going to go into it, but in the grand scheme of things, I do find it something that is positive. So yes, that's pretty much what I wanted to say on this Memorial Day. Maybe you can see the link between my personal story and my 2 cents on the Holocaust in Auschwitz and Memorial Day in the United States of America. Or maybe you cannot, that's okay as well. Other than that, I love America, love American music, I love American films. Where would we be without Hollywood? Yeah, and America, I mean, greatest country on earth. Given that the chat is not moving, and I am a little spent after telling this story, I just felt that I had to get this out of the way because I was listening to the streams and I was hearing all kinds of. I can hear people speaking for me, on my behalf, which I did not voice my opinion on this to anyone before making this stream. So this is my take on it. By the way, Basil's first member of this channel. Thank you so much, Basils. Thank you so much, man. And OG Baby Girl, wow, $100 super chat. Thank you, OG Baby Girl. I love you too. I miss talking to you on Discord. And thank you for supporting, all the creators, on the streamers, on the Archiverse. You're a patron of the Archiverse, and I appreciate your support. Thank you. So on that note, I'm gonna sign out, and thank you all for watching. I don't know if it's okay to say Happy Memorial Day, because in Israel, it's Memorial Day is a very sad day, but it's different in America, and I respect that, because you celebrate the fact that your freedom and the lives of those who sacrificed everything for it, and fought for it. But thank you to America and all to all those who fight for freedom, democracy, and fight against evil. So thank you again, and we'll sign out with a little the song that I began this stream with. And have a great Sunday, all. Thank you.
There once was a silver gray fox, a great beauty, who lived very deep in the woods, afraid of the meadow where life once before treated her worse than it should. And to think of the mountain beyond the green meadow did surely bring fear to her heart. For she'd heard the stories of all the great hunters and shivered and cried in the dark. Tired of living a life of dark shadow, Fox ventured out in the light and rejoiced at the sound and the smell of the meadow while keeping her shelter inside. Then all at once a fear overcame her, the shadow passed over the sun, and she heard the cry of the great hunting eagle. She knew it was over and done. I am the eagle that speaks for an eagle. I've come to take you away. High up the mountains and sparkling blue rivers and show you the place where I stay. Please do not fear me, for I will not harm you, no matter what others may say. Though it is true that our lives should not meet, I lead us she didn't know why, she accepted the offer and reluctantly climbed on his back. And the woods and the meadow were left far behind her. It seemed she would never get back. Then the fox sensed a yearning deep within the great eagle, and she felt something stirring her too. Could she fall in love with the eagle? Could he fall in love with her too? Could this eagle be lonely and searching for someone to help him ruin his domain? Had he ever had someone to love and protect, bring him in and out of the rain? And the eagle spoke soft, and his words were a wonder, in a voice touched with sadness it seemed. Even though I must hunt in the name of survival, I need not kill all that I see. For I am an eagle, a sweet soaring eagle, I've come to take you away. High up the mountains, as far through the rivers, to show you the place where I stay. Speak not to me, for I will not harm you, no matter what others may say. Though it's true that our lives do not meet, I'll meet up some friends today. I've need of some friendship today. I've need of some love too.